Look up at the night sky. What do you see? A sea of stars, a universe of wonder, or maybe a hidden map of your destiny. Across the ages, humans have looked at the stars, not just with curiosity, but with belief. A belief that those glowing points of light have something to say about us. This belief system is what we call astrology. It claims that the position of planets and stars at the exact moment you were born can reveal your personality, your strengths and weakness, your relationships, and even your future. Sounds mystical, right? But here's the fascinating part. Billions of people still follow it. In fact, astrology is more popular now than ever before. It shows up in apps, in daily horoscopes, in conversations between friends, and even in the dating world. But this brings us to some important questions. What exactly is astrology? Where did it came from? Why do so many people still believe in it in today's scientific age? And is there any truth behind its claim? In this video, we will explore the world of astrology, not just as a believer sees it, but from a broader, more curious lens. First, we will go back in time to uncover the origins and types of astrology across the world. Then, we will look into the psychological and emotional reasons why people still trust the stars. And finally, we will face the big question: what does science say about it all? So, whether you are a hardcore believer, a curious skeptic, or someone stuck somewhere in between, this journey through the stars is for you. Let's begin. To truly understand astrology, we have to take a journey back in time, thousands of years, across continents and cultures. Long before modern science, ancient people looked up the sky for guidance. The movements of the sun, moon, and stars were more than just natural events. They were messages, signs from the gods, or cosmic instructions for how to live. The earliest known records of astrology come from Babylon, around 2000 BC. The Babylonians meticulously tracked planetary movements, believing these celestial bodies influenced life on Earth. They used star position to make predictions, not just about individuals, but about kings, wars, weather, and harvest. From Babylon, astrology spread to ancient Greece, where it was refined and intellectualized. Greek scholars like Ptolemy created detailed systems of astrological thoughts that linked star positions with the human behavior. They introduced the Zodiac wheel, the 12 signs we still use today: Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and so on. Around the same time, in India, a different form of astrology was flourishing: Vedic astrology, or Jyotish Shastra. Rooted in the spiritual traditions of Hinduism, Jyotish doesn't just predict events, it focuses on karma, spiritual growth, and the soul's journey through time. Vedic astrology uses the sidereal zodiac, which is based on fixed star constellations, unlike the tropical zodiac used in the West. Across the globe in China, another unique system emerged: Chinese astrology. It's based on lunar cycles, 5 elements: wood, fire, earth, metal, water, and 12 animal signs such as dragon, tiger, and rabbit. Rather than focusing on star positions, it emphasizes cosmic harmony, personality balance, and compatibility. Other cultures also developed their own systems. The Mayans, for instance, created incredibly accurate celestial calendars using astrology to guide rituals and agriculture. Over time, astrology became deeply woven into culture, religion, and politics. Kings had court astrologers, temples were aligned with the stars, and ordinary people looked to the heavens for answers about love, health, and destiny. Even today, the basic structure of astrology remains rooted in the ancient traditions. So, whether you are reading your sun sign horoscope in the newspaper or getting a full birth chart analysis, you are tapping into a system that's been evolving for over 4,000 years. But the real question is, why has astrology lasted so long? What is it about this system that continues to captivate people across time, cultures, and generations? That's exactly what we'll explore in the next part. Now that we know where astrology came from and how it developed across cultures, next big question is, why do so many people still believe in it? Even in the age of science, technology, and artificial intelligence, astrology remains incredibly popular. But why? One reason lies in the human psychology. At our core, we are meaning seeking creatures. We want to understand ourselves, our emotions, our relationships, and most importantly, our future. Astrology gives us a language for that. When we read things like, you are emotional, but you don't always show it, or you feel misunderstood even when surrounded by people, we pause and think, that's so me. But here's a twist. This experience is almost universal. It's called the Barnum effect, a psychological phenomenon where people believe vague, general statements apply specifically to them. Horoscopes use this effect powerfully. They offer statements that sound deeply personal, when in reality, they could apply to almost anyone. Yet, even when we know this, we still find comfort in those words. Because astrology isn't just about predicting the future, it's about explaining the present. When life feels chaotic or confusing, astrology gives a sense of order. It helps us make sense of difficult emotions. It feels like something is finally seeing you. For many, it's also cultural, passed down through families, practiced in rituals, respected in communities. In countries like India, for example, astrology is still consulted for weddings, career decisions, and naming children. For others, astrology serves as a spiritual mirror, a tool for self reflection. When people say, I am such a Virgo, or that's my Scorpio energy, what they are really doing is expressing personality, identity, and emotion in a way that feels intuitive. And let's not forget, astrology is also fun. In a world of stress, deadlines, and uncertainty, reading about your zodiac compatibility or laughing over a meme about your star sign offers a brief moment of joy. It's like a cosmic personality quiz, playful, mysterious, and sometimes weirdly accurate. So, even if the stars aren't actually controlling our lives, they're certainly helping us talk about our lives. But still, we have to ask, how does all this hold up when tested through the lens of science? That's what we will explore in the final part. So far, we have seen how astrology was born, how it evolved, and why it continues to capture human hearts. But now comes the crucial question. What does science say about astrology? From a scientific perspective, astrology doesn't hold up for scrutiny. Over the years, researchers have conducted controlled studies to see if horoscopes or star positions can actually predict behavior, personality, or life events. The result? No significant evidence. People born under the same zodiac sign don't behave more alike than those born under different signs. In fact, they often have completely different personalities, careers, and life paths. Even astrologers themselves often disagree on chart interpretations. And here is something interesting. The zodiac signs we use today are based on the sky as it was over 2000 years ago. Due to a phenomenon called axial precession, where the Earth's rotation axis wobbles over time, the position of the stars has shifted. This means that the actual constellations no longer align with the traditional zodiac calendar. For example, if you are born on Sagittarius, astronomically speaking, you might now fall under a completely different sign. Despite these contradictions, astrology is still widely popular. In fact, it's thriving. Today we have astrology apps with millions of downloads. Social media is full of zodiac memes, compatibility charts, and astro influencers. People turn to astrology not just for fun, but for emotional support, identity, and connection. And that brings us to a fascinating point. Even if astrology isn't backed by science, it's still real in a cultural and psychological sense. It acts like a mirror, not the stars but to ourselves. It gives people language for what they are feeling, permission to explore who they are, and a sense of cosmic belonging. So maybe the stars don't control your fate, but maybe they help you ask better questions about it. In the end, astrology may not be a science, but it is a story. A story that's lasted for thousands of years. A story that people still believe, still share, and still find meaning in. Whether you believe in it or not, maybe the real magic of astrology isn't in the sky, but in the way we use it to understand ourselves and each other.